And we're back. It's been a long time. I think maybe almost 2 years. Anyway, this car may look familiar. It's kind of the first Redline I'd ever restored on the channel, and it's time to redo it. And the reason why is, I have let my grandson play with them a little bit. You can see there's a scratch on the rear quarter, and just little damage here and there just from playing with it. But it's time to sell these things. So I'm going to finish all 16, and the ones that have been played with, we're just going to redo. You can see it's not terrible. I mean, it's certainly way better than it was originally, but there's some scratches on the hood, just little things here and there, and we want to make it a little bit better. It's not going to be perfect. These red lines were never perfect, but I want to put them all together, get them all as best I can, and then make a little display case for them and throw them up on eBay because they're valuable. So we're going to start by taking the car back apart, which we've already got our self-tapping screws, and I'll update the links in the video description. I'll have links to all these screws and tools and all that, but I probably will need to update those because after 2 years, they're probably a little bit old and not working anymore. So take the interior out and open the hood, just give it a once over. And again, it's not terrible, but we're going to go ahead and strip it. You can see we've got a lot of cars there. Actually, I took a boatload of cars, ones that I'd already finished, ones that I needed to finish, and I just kind of did them all at once. Here you can see I'm getting the paint out of little nooks and crannies. The stripper I have now is not as good as the old stuff, the aircraft stripper. They've changed the formula, so there's a little bit of handiwork that needs to be done with toothpicks and little wire wheel just to get out the small stuff. And then I take some sandpaper. Now I believe this is 800 grit, and we're just going to smooth it back out because it did have some little divots from probably being launched off of ramps, and put some mother's polish on there and polish it back up to a fairly decent shine because we want that Spectraflame paint to kind of be like a mirror-like finish. Here's the paint and then the hardener. Go ahead and put it in a little cup, mix it up really well. Also shake the can or shake the jar before you actually do this. I didn't show that on camera, but I give it a good shake, and then we'll go ahead and mix it by hand once we get the hardener in there. And then we'll stick it back in the booth and spray paint it the original Spectraflame red. Now I typically use at least 3 coats. It depends on the finish. 1 light coat, 1 medium, 1 heavy. Sometimes I'll use a little bit more depending on how bad the car is. This one we did 4 coats actually. And painted the roof off camera. And it looks just like it did before. A little bit better than the original, I would say, because I've gotten a little bit better. Not much better, but this was in rough shape. If you have watched the original video, and I will link that in the description as well. Got this from eBay. It was crushed. It was pretty bad off, but it was fun. So we're going to take the screws out. Now you notice I had those screws on there. The reason why I had the screws on the body is when I use my helping hands, that gives them something to grab onto so they don't slip off of those posts for the rivets. Well, they're not really rivets, but... And then we put it back together, and different screws because the original screws had paint on them. So we're using a fresh new set of screws. Put it back together, and then we'll make sure that it rolls. And all appears to be just fine, as you can see. And just like that, it's complete. Well, kind of. If you remember in the beginning of the video, I mentioned that it's been about 2 years since I've done any restorations or anything like that. Now these I painted probably 8 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, and I thought I had them complete, but if you're looking at the car right now, you'll see the front's not painted black, the grill's not black, so we're just going to take a Sharpie and fix that right up. I don't recall what I did on the first one. I don't know if I painted it or used a Sharpie. I believe I actually painted it, but the Sharpie looks just as well, just as good. So we're going to stick with that. And now we are finally done. And As I post more of these videos in the upcoming weeks, I hope to get them all out. Now, I've already done some of them. I'm putting them here in the background. Some of them I've had to redo, and some of them are fresh restorations. So you'll probably see 4 or 5 that are redos. So it might be kind of monotonous. Of course, all these videos are in a way. But those were either I did a bad job, which is very possible, or my grandson played with them, and I just want to get them looking fresh again so we can put these on eBay and sell them as a complete Sweet 16 set in as good as condition as we can. So this was a short one. The other ones will be probably fairly short as well, especially the redos, but hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, post those below. And as always, thanks for watching.